Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And there's a paid request for Will. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Patreon and a CashApp. PayPal is usually the best way to do it. Links are down below in the info box. I'll get to as soon as I can. But Will was very nice to send a request for Dress to Kill from 1980, the Brian De Palma film. Now, I might have seen this film once before, but it's been a long time ago. But I know this was, I do say, De Palma's take on Psycho, among other stuff. There's other thing about Brian De Palma is that I know he got a lot of shit from critics, among other stuff, especially in this time period, saying, "Oh, he ripped off Alfred Hitchcock. Why is he always ripping off Hitchcock?" And compared to other directors, they would not give him as much respect. I know, like, Tarantino is a huge fan of De Palma, and I know he likes him a lot more than Hitchcock, because Tarantino does not like Hitchcock at all. I do. I mean, I like Hitchcock. I like Rope, The Birds, Rear Window, among others. But I like Brian De Palma as well. I like Blowout. I love Scarface. I love Casualties of War. I like Body Double quite a bit. I'd probably say I would still put Scarface and Casualties of War and Body Double above this one. But I don't mind this one. And of course he did Carrie years before. This does have that great style, whether it be usage of split screens, or the way he sets up sequences of suspense, like the elevator bit, which I'll get into later, where there's a split screen and a mirror and there's some really nice editing associated in those scenes. The movie, I forgot like how short I wouldn't say it's a short film, but it doesn't feel, well, that's the end of spoilers. I'll get back to that later. Pino Donaggio, I'm sorry I butchered the name, great composer, did a wonderful job on the score. He also worked on Carrie, on many other films, worked with De Palma, on other De Palma movies. And the cast, you got Michael Caine as a psychiatrist, you got Nancy Allen, who will later be in RoboCop. She was in Carrie before this, in Blowout, as she plays an escort, a call girl here. You got Teef Gordon, who will later be in Christine. You got Angie Dickinson. You got David Margulies. I remember him as the mayor in Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Dennis Franz. Always great to see him in stuff like this. Because he was in, hell, a few years later, he'd be in Psycho 2. Speaking of stuff that reminds you of Hitchcock. And they say it does play a bit like Psycho, like in Janet Leigh. You think someone's going to be the star of the film, but then they get knocked off, and then we're at our actual star. So the setup is Angie Dickinson is a woman who, you see her in a shower, and I forgot how blatant this is, where she's touching herself, and there's, the pubic hair, and I'm like, Jesus. I've seen Skinamax stuff that's not as hardcore as this. And just playing with herself, and the idea is that she's sexually frustrated because her husband stinks in bed. Because she's doing it, and then she pictures someone behind her. I remember at first thinking, what the hell's going on? Is it like a threesome? But no, she sees... Because then when, like, there's steam and it covers her husband, and then she screams, "Ah!" I'm like, is she scared? Like, why is she scared about this? Because it seems like she's enjoying it, but I guess, is that part of the thrill that she's being scared? I mean, you have to be really sexually frustrated then if that's the case, that you may be scared, but it's still more of a turn on than your actual husband. Or what you're getting from it, I should say. But anyway, meets with her psychiatrist, played by Michael Caine, and Michael Caine, great actor. I even liked him in stuff other people don't. The Island, I rather enjoyed. That came out around this time, based on the Peter Benchley book. But that deals with like these sadistic, bloodthirsty pirates in the modern age, and they're trying to get his kid to join them, and Michael Caine's trying to stop him. Michael Caine does like a 50 caliber against the pirates. It's hard for me to hate a movie where Michael Caine kills a shitload of pirates with a 50 caliber. Sorry, I can't hate that movie. I like The Island. He was also in The Swarm, which I liked. A lot of people don't like that one. A lot of people made fun of it, hate it. I like The Swarm. Now, of course, Michael Caine, people remember as Alfred in the Christopher Nolan Batman films. He was in the original Dick Carter as well as the remake, although I prefer the remake, which I know that'll be coming up sometime this month, because that was requested. But always enjoy Michael Caine. I think he does a good job here. I mean, technically he doesn't have a whole lot to do, but you know why by the end of it. But anyway, she talks with him. She's unhappy with her husband. Same, pretty much stinks in bed. One thing leads to another. She goes to his museum. And they have this playful stalking sequence where the stranger and her kind of not quite play tag, but in a way where she goes over to him and then he goes over to her in a playful manner. Now, I will say, this feels like it takes a bit too long to where she's over here, she looks over, then she goes over here, then she goes over there, then he goes over here, and then he dropped a glove, then she goes... I get it, but it just felt like it took too damn long. It's like, we get it, can you move on? I think the scene could have been cut in half and it still would have worked. The fact it goes on for so fucking long, and like, can you like want to hit the fast forward button? That's one detriment. I thought that scene went on a bit too long. But gets into the cab with him. They have a little bit of taxi cab confessions. A little bit of playful sex. And then they go to his room and have actual sex. Now, I will get into spoilers. Before I do, I will say this. I liked the film, I think, in particular because of De Palma's direction, with how he uses the camera, using split screens. I love when he uses split screens. Certain ways he has scenes set up visually as a director. I think the score is very effective. I like Nancy Allen. I think she's likable as the call girl. I liked her attitude. Keith Gordon, I thought he was likable enough. Always I see Michael Caine in there. It was predictable on who the killer was. I think within 10 minutes or less you'll know who the killer is. I think the ending... It's such a long scene for what it eventually becomes, and it's just kind of like, really? Like, this is how it's going to end? Like, I'll get to that in the spoilers, starting now. She has sex with the guy, finds out that the guy's got gonorrhea and syphilis. That's why you always need safe sex. Put the helmet on. Okay? Well, you should have made him do it. Okay? Safe sex. That's what you did. So she's freaked out, goes to the elevator. And yeah, I like the way the director used split screen. Like, she thinks of something, and then the screen splits, and you realize, oh, she's got her wedding ring back there. So I like the way he utilizes that. So it's able to tell the audience without having the character talk to herself. Oh my God, I forgot my ring, my wedding ring. No, just show us, tell us visually. But then she goes back. There's a killer. Looks like a woman. Cuts her shit up. Slices and dices her with a razor. On the face, on the neck. You know, pretty brutal. But this is what I'm talking about. Well, the editing is very on point. Nancy Allen's an escort with one of her customers. He sees that Angie Dickinson is dying, runs off. She's trying to get to her, and then she notices the mirror and notices, like, up close of her face and zooming into the mirror, and you see that there's a killer behind the elevator door, and her noticing it, and oh shit, you know, maybe I shouldn't do this. Like, it's very, with the music, it's just a very nice editing point. To show the audience what's going on, her noticing, no dialogue, but filling in the blanks of what's going on, and her noticing, oh shit, how close it is, and the razor's coming towards her, and but then for some reason, the killer drops the razor, and Nancy Allen picks it up. Why in the fuck will she pick up the razor? It's, you see a dead body, you know there's a killer behind there, they drop a razor, it's bloody, but then you're like, oh, pick up the razor and then run with it? Why? Even if, like, the killer, like, put her hand and she's like, what the fuck? Like, without her note, like, she's trying to reach out, the killer puts it in, like, what the fuck? Like, maybe it was that, but literally, the killer drops it, she bends down and picks it up. When she sees it's all bloody, like, why? And then she runs around, while the maid sees her. That didn't make any sense to me. Why did she do that? That's just really, really stupid. That didn't make any sense. So then she talks to the cops, Dennis Franz, and it's great to see. Dennis Franz, he's one of those guys that's just perfect to play a police officer. That's why he was on NYPD Blue for so long. He was a cop in Die Hard 2. Just kind of the perfect role for him. And Dennis Franz, it's sad that you don't really see him. I mean, he's retired. Let him enjoy his retirement, but he's a guy that I wish we could have seen more in movies, but again, he was doing his TV show. I think during that time he only did stuff like Nick Cage's film City of Angels, and a few others. But it was always nice to see Dennis Franz. Good character actor. I like the way he delivers dialogue. He just had the right personality for those kind of roles. You know, what kind of building is this? Everybody getting late after lunch? And then we also see more about Keith Gordon. We saw him earlier, and he had like a nice bond with his mom, Angie Dickinson, who's the woman killed in the elevator. That was Keith Gordon's mom. So Keith is there, and he's a guy that we have established he's good at electronics. So he's able to put a bug on to listen to what's being said. And so, of course, he wants to look into who killed his mom. And he overhears, maybe it has something to do with the psychiatrist. So he sets up a bike with a camera. Make sure it's playing a recording, leaves it there. And we'll come back and look at the footage. You're fucking lucky no one stole your damn camera, kid. I'll say that. I'm sitting there going, I don't know, a bike sitting here for anyone to take? I don't know. I don't know how it was back in 1980, but I think nowadays that fucking bike would have been stolen. And then, oh shit, camera, we're going to sell the shit out of this. That would be funny if he went back and then the bike was gone and went, shit! They stole his bike. So you're lucky they didn't steal your damn bike, Keith Gordon. But I liked him. I thought he had a natural demeanor. Him being sad about the death of his mom, him being adamant But he's not too over the top or anything. So I liked him. Then you have this kind of interesting scene where Michael Caine and Nancy Allen, it's a split screen, and they're both watching the same program, and it's a program about someone having a sex change, going from man to woman. Now, heavy spoilers. Let me jump real quick a bit. If you're watching this film, you more than likely will realize, oh, I bet Michael Caine is the villain. Because you see how the movie's trying to be like Psycho, where again you think someone's the lead, like Janet Leigh, and then they get killed. And what was the kill in that? A cross-dresser. Or at least dressed up in his mom's clothes. And then they're both watching this cross-dress. I mean, okay, that means it's about someone who's a cross-dresser. And like, who right now are the suspects? The only major players we have is Dennis Franz, which, based on this look, he's not the killer. Because we see the face of the killer just has giant sunglasses. It's Nancy Allen, which is not Nancy Allen. Chief Gordon, which we could clearly tell is not Chief Gordon. Or Michael Caine. They try to have this bit where Michael Caine hears this message that this person says, hey, I was your patient and I'm going to get revenge on you. But we never see the person in the same frame as Michael Caine. We never see them talking to Michael Caine. We never see them even talking on the phone back and forth. It's always he hears the messages. So, I mean, maybe it's because I've seen so many movies and I'm so used to this kind of twist that if you haven't done that, then this wouldn't really play into that fact. But it was just, even when I first saw this, I'm like, yeah, I bet he's the killer. And it is, so. What may be predictable to me may not have been predictable to you is what I'm getting at. So. Because, again, to me, this seems like a mystery whodunit that would have some kind of... you feel like it's a movie that would have some kind of twist. And then, lo and behold, who else could it be other than the guy who doesn't really do a whole lot other than hang out in his office? And that's to say, like, Michael Caine is good, but just because of what's going on, he doesn't have much to do. Hang out. He talks a little bit with Dennis Franz when he's being talked about what happened to Angie Dickinson. He's in his office listening to the messages. He talks to the mayor of Ghostbusters, which David Margulies plays a different doctor. That's really all he does. So part is like, I wish Michael Caine had more to do, but kind of hard to do that with the plot you have right here. Especially when you see Michael Caine having been, you say maybe he's having interest because he's his patient, but I don't know, maybe it's just me. I did think it was interesting that there's a bit where Nancy Allen feels she's being followed, and she is, by someone who's a woman. Which I'm sitting there going, okay, if Nancy Allen tells you, well, okay, I said spoilers. You find out that for a good chunk of it, the person following Nancy Allen is another cop. You're not supposed to know that until the end. But I'm sitting there going, okay, Dennis Franz, he says at the end that, no, I never thought you were a killer, but hopefully you'll get the info I need. But she's also told you that the person chasing her is a woman with a blonde wig. Why would you have a woman with almost the same hair color follow her then? To make her more paranoid and thinking that's the killer or not? Like, wouldn't you have like a guy follow her so that she's not as fucking freaked out? And also that she wouldn't notice, because that's the whole point, is that she's not supposed to notice the person. But if she thinks a woman's after her, and she just sees some regular guy just, smoking a cigarette or whatever, then she'd be less paranoid, which means your police work would be used to better effect in following her, which is what you want to do in the first place. It's just to fool the audience to thinking, oh, the killer's following her, when no, sometimes it's just the cop following her. It's there not because it really makes sense for police procedure, because to fool the audience. So take that for what you will. But I would want to say it's interesting that during that she gets to a taxi and, hey, can you lose this person? I'll owe you. The driver, I recognize the driver. The driver is Bill Randolph. He plays the character Jeff in Friday the 13th Part 2. Who is that? Remember the scene in Friday 2 with the spear? And Jason kills 2 with 1 spear? He's the guy in that situation. On top. Going through his back into the lady underneath. My name is Jeff. So that's Bill Randolph. So right after this, he get killed by Jason Voorhees. And probably one of the big kill scenes, to the point he was on the back of the VHS tape, that for the longest time no one could see that footage, until eventually it did get released on the deleted scenes. And now people have edited that into the movie, and you can find the uncut version of Friday the 13th Part 2 if you search online for it. Because I have it. Someone just took the deleted scenes and put it back in. Which is cool. And they actually looked like they cleaned it up and put sound effects during it too. In the fan cuts people have made. God bless the fans. But I'm like, I know this guy looks fucking familiar. I'm like, oh shit. It's the guy from Friday the 13th Part 2. Okay, cool. I do like that he helps her out and he's not too much of a creep about it. Thought that was nice. Because usually it'd be a guy who's a dickhead, or if he does, hey, can I get some poontang pie? But no, he helps and he's not a dick, so that was nice. And during this chase, it goes to the subway and these thugs try to mess with her. And then the killer, this is the killer, tries to kill her, but Keith Gordon has this homemade mace and saves her life. So it's nice that Keith Gordon was given something to do and not just a fly on the wall. Because some movies will do that. At least they give him something to do. And then once they meet, you thinking... I remember when I first saw it, I thought, okay, they've met each other. Nancy Allen and Keith Gordon. Now it's going to be this ongoing lengthy investigation of who the killer is and who are the suspects. And no, we're almost to the end of the movie by the time those two meet. They go to his office, Michael Caine's office. She seduces him. He's watching outside. Someone grabs him. The killer tries to kill Nancy. There's a gunshot, and you realize the woman who grabbed Keith Gordon was a cop. And the killer was, lo and behold, Michael Caine. So maybe because I'm so used to movies where it's going to be a bit of a further investigation, and there's going to be other red herrings, and other close calls between them and the killer, some foot chasing, or any of the sort. And there's going to be this big battle at the end. No. Kind of like Psycho, you have the person explain, like a scene where people are in a room while the doctor explain what's going on with Michael Caine's head. Why he was dressing up as a woman. Why his mind was fragmented. He wanted a sex change, but his other self didn't want it. And all the stuff that goes into it. Much like, a bit like Psycho. So they talk with the cops, as well as the psychiatrist, aka the mayor of Ghostbusters. She has a little bit of dinner with Keith Gordon. And then the ending I always thought was weird to me, because it feels like a 10-minute scene where spoiler, it's a dream scene. And I don't know, just something about that kind of bothered me, where, like, they spent so much time on a bit that wasn't even real. Where all Michael Caine's character killed a nurse. Now, granted, when you rewatch it, it made sense because, like, the way the asylum looks like seems like a dreamlike state, and the way the prisoners are out free, and the lighting, and the way Michael Caine killed the nurse, but yet nobody else noticed, none of the other people at the asylum noticed, and the way, like, nowadays it's like, yeah, of course it makes sense as a dream, but you're sitting there going, man, they're doing it a long time, because he's like, the nurse is slowly going into and looking at Michael Caine, then he kills her, then the prisoners are hooping and hollering, then he escapes, then it's Nancy Allen walking around, then she's being walked around some more, then she's in the bathroom, taking a shower, then she sees someone's shoes outside, then tries to get a razor from the mirror, and then the hand comes out and slices her throat. It feels like it goes on for 10 minutes. And I guess, to be fair, the first time you're watching it, you're not supposed to know it's a dream. So that suspense will be showcased. But for repeated viewings, I know you could argue, well, what about movies that the entire movie was in someone's head? Or the entire movie was playing against your expectations, so what you saw happen didn't really happen. Does that hurt repeated viewings? I get that point. But usually that's like the whole movie, and the whole movie I'm enjoying those for other reasons, and that's part of the game. Here it's just, I like the movie, it's just, once it gets to that point, I don't really need to watch the ending, because it's all leading up to something that doesn't happen, and it goes on for so long, and she wakes up, and Keith Gordon's like, hey, everything's okay, and then the movie's over, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know why that bothered me. I guess because I know it's typical, but the killer gets out, but then it's this last fight, struggle, battle, and they kill the bad guy, and that leaves, for me, a sense of satisfaction to leave the movie as the end credits are playing. But here it's kind of, you're purposely toyed with, and it's like, oh, it's a dream, and it's like, okay, the last 10 minutes have meant nothing. That's great. And then that's the initial reaction I have while the credits are playing. I know that seems unfair, but that's just how my fucked up brain works. So I kind of would rather have had Michael Caine, just desserts, or get killed, get shot, something. Well, honestly, just after the dinner, Nancy Allen and Keith Gordon, they have dinner, they walk out, they get into a cab, camera pans up to see the city, and then credits. I guess, to be honest, I just didn't give a shit about that last dream scene. I just think it went on too long for what really doesn't amount to anything. You just say, well, it amounts to her psychology and where her head is at, and she's gonna live with this for a while. I can understand that. But I don't know, I didn't like it. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know how to word it successfully. I just bothered the fuck out of me. But I do like the film. Like I said, Body Double I would put above this. I would put Blowout, well, would I put Blowout above this? I mean, Blowout, that ending is definitely very impactful. Sucker Punch. But this one, I mean, ultimately is a happier ending, and I'm a sucker for happier endings. God, that's tough. Because I like Nancy Allen. I don't want to see her get killed. That already happened in, the other movie, but... Well, wasn't... Nancy Allen was in Terry, right? Let me make sure. Yes. I did see the director had to give her a break. It's like, dude, you killed me twice already in Terry and Blowout. Can you give me a fucking break? So I don't die? Actually, when was Blowout? When was Blowout? Okay, so that was after this, so... I keep thinking it was before this, but no. Blowout was after this. Okay. I just like, hey, I got you killed. I'll make you live here, but I get to kill you again. So maybe if it worked a fourth time, then you'll live this time. But yeah, the lawn dream scene for the finale, I thought was kind of a weird way to end it. Like I said, I wish Michael Caine had more to do, but because of the circumstances, that'd be pretty hard to make that happen. But I did like the style. I did like Nancy. I thought she was likable. Same with Keith Gordon. Cool, always cool to see Dennis Franz there. Very competent score. I would say like Body Double. I was a bit more interested in the story and the mystery of it all, as to what was going on. But yeah, I didn't mind it. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I liked it. I didn't mind the film. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks once again to Will, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.